Hello, I'm Susan Fagan, your 9th District State Representative. Thank you for tuning in for my weekly updates on the 2012 session of the Legislature, and thank you again for trusting me to represent you. The 2012 session began on Monday, January 9th, and the session is scheduled to run 60 days and, adjourning on Thursday, March 8th. Last week was an extremely busy time in the Legislature. The quarterly revenue forecast was announced on February 16th. We finally saw a little bit of good news. We had a $32 million increase in estimated tax collections, and program caseloads dropped, which saved the state $335 million. This lowered the budget gap from $1.5 billion to roughly $1.1 billion, and it will make our jobs a little easier, but difficult decisions remain to be made if we want to balance our spending with tax collections. We expect the budget leaders on the other side of the aisle to present their work on the budget this week. In the meantime, my colleagues and I rolled out our budget plan. As you likely know, we budget based on priorities, meaning first things first. Our budget plan would fund K-12 basic education in a separate budget, and then we move on to funding for public safety and services for our most vulnerable, all without a proposed sales tax increase that the governor has suggested. In all, our education budget spends about $580 million more on basic education than the governor's proposal, and gives local school districts more flexibility with the dollars we send to them. Also critical to the 9th District, our budget fully funds levy equalization and the full 180-day school year. Our budget spends $40 million more and does not save money through releasing criminals early or cutting community supervision. We fund personal safety equipment in our state-run prisons and our public safety facilities. Last, we invest in gang prevention programs that parts of our state desperately need right now. I firmly believe that public safety is critical to our vibrant communities. Finally, our budget focuses on the vulnerable by protecting funding for long-term care, for adult day health, employment programs for our disabled community, our critical access hospitals, and our regional support networks, among many other items. And it still leaves a healthy ending fund reserve of $622 million. All the details are on our website, and I would welcome your thoughts. I know this budget is not perfect, but I assure you we were thoughtful and deliberate. Right now, we have to focus on priorities, and this budget does that. I also want to tell you about the status of the educator evaluation legislation, Senate Bill 5895. This is a bipartisan compromise that passed the Senate with overwhelming support. It's now in the House and going through the committee and public hearing process. This legislation would take full effect in the 2016 school year and would include the ability for student performance to be weighed into teacher and principal evaluations. This process builds off the pilot projects that have been tested at several of our school districts around the state, including some in our own 9th District. I hope you'll take time to offer me feedback on this important education reform legislation. We've been welcoming many constituent groups to Olympia, including the 4-H Know Your Government participants, FFA leaders, our potato growers, our classified school district staff, university student leaders from the 3 WSU campuses, Endicott Middle School, student leaders, senior citizens, long-term care advocates, and many more. Also on Monday, President's Day, members were able to bring young people on the floor of the House for Children's Day. Joining me were Flynn Meyer and Sierra Jones, both 5 years old and children of 2 of my friends here in Olympia. It's a joy to offer this experience to very young people. Your comments and opinions are very important to me as I serve you here in Olympia and contemplate the many bills that come before us. They will help guide my decisions on the session's critical issues. I encourage constituents to subscribe to receive my weekly email updates by logging on to my legislative website. I'm Representative Susan Fagan. Thank you again for allowing me to serve you.